Now, I was going back and forth about what was going to be the lead story. Well, you know what I mean. The lead segment for this week. But I figure, you know what? Let's just get the St. John stuff out of the way first and kind of go from there because I got to say, for people already know this by now, obviously, but they lost. They were eliminated from the tournament over the weekend. They lost to the number 10 seed Arkansas 75-76. And I said a couple of weeks ago, I think it was last week, that I felt like they had to get out of the first weekend, and that didn't happen. They beat Omaha Thursday night 83-53. But the thing was, it's like even though they won that game by 30 points, something seemed off with them, I thought. And the bad shooting came back to bite them in the ass on Saturday because my God, that loss on Saturday was fucking dreadful. And let's just go over the stats quick before we get into it.
Oh, yeah, I got them right here.
They shot just 28% from the field on 21 of 75 shooting. They were just 2 of 22 from the beyond the arc as a dreadful that comes out to 9.1.
9.1.
Yeah. And here's what I think is the kicker.
I think I could shoot better from 3.9 if I was drunk.
Probably. Here's the kicker. Because I felt like as much as they were struggling from the field, here's what they got their asses handed to them. They were only 8 of 25 on layups. To me, if you make the majority of those, let's say you make 14 of those layups, you win the game. That's it. You would have won the game. Despite all the other issues that they faced during that game. And that game was ugly because it's not like Arkansas was shooting the ball well. That game was fucking ugly. And it just so happened that ugly won at the end of the day. And they just I was disappointed. I mean, I was thinking to myself today, like I was more disappointed about St. John's losing Saturday than I was about the Mets losing in against the Dodgers in the NLCS. Because I've been waiting for this for so fucking long. And then you have like this great season and you completely shit the bed in the worst possible way. So your thoughts on the game itself, and then we can get and talking about some of the other stuff that came out of it, especially with the whole thing with RJ Lewis.
The second half, I don't know if you guys noticed, you guys were texting rapid fire, and guess who wasn't responding? Me. Why?
You knew it was over.
I fell asleep.
Oh, you I didn't realize
They
that.
put me to
Okay.
bed. They both teams put me to sleep.
Yeah, it was tough. That was a tough game to watch.
But what did I tell you? I learned this a long time ago, and it sounds really simple, but it's very true. And I learned this when you try to do these, not even fancy layups, but when you don't use a certain part of the whole rim, everything that's part of the basket,
Right.
the basket,
Yeah.
the backboard,
Use the
that
backboard.
square is there for a reason.
Yeah.
Use it. We've seen it from the likes of Patrick Ewing trying to finger roll, hitting the back of the rim, it comes out.
Oh,
Use
yeah.
the backboard. Yes, that was a finger roll, different shot, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like I was told as
Yeah.
a little kid, use the backboard to lay the ball. It's there. You will probably miss 0% of your shots if you did an easy layup, put it right in the middle of the square, and it goes right in.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You know what? Another number that I couldn't believe this throughout a whole college basketball game. I don't know why I found this fascinating. I mean, both teams, but Arkansas wasn't any better. They just doubled the St. John's number.
Right.
St. John's only had 5 assists.
Yes, I saw that. I forgot to write that down. Right. Yeah.
Is that possible?
I mean, when you look at how many
Throughout a whole game?
yeah. Well, that was one of the things that they brought up in the first half of Patino when they came back from halftime. And I think at the half they only had 3 assists. If I'm not mistaken.
Bro.
Yeah.
I was looking at this today. I was like, that can't be.
Yeah. Yeah. 5 assists. The problem was, and you saw it, they were not moving the ball like they usually do. And I think it just bit them in the ass at the end of the day. They were rushing up shots. They weren't playing smart. They were
R.C.
shooting
Lewis got
way
into his own head because he disappeared. So he
right.
started force. There was a point in time, I think St. John's cut it to 2 in the second half. There was like maybe 3 to 5 minutes left, somewhere
Yeah,
around there. And he started at the 3-point line, did like a spin move. They cut him off, and then he just like threw the ball to the basket because he thought he was gonna get fat. I'm just like, dude, what are you doing?
yeah, yeah. I mean, they had a listen. This is an interesting thing. Like Danny said, I went to go back and look at the chain. They were down 62-60 with 8 minutes left, and they only scored 6 points the rest of the
That
way.
might have been the point. It was a little bit more than 5 minutes. So the 60, then when they were down by 2, yeah. My man Zuby didn't touch the ball enough down the stretch.
Nope, absolutely not.
My only problem with him is he's like the NBA players today. You looking for the foul. Stop, dude. Just play
Yeah,
basketball. He
yeah.
complains too much. That guy that was on him, I don't know. I don't know if that's coaching. You're not making the right call. The guy that was initially guarding him had 4 fouls. Now
And
it's
they
time
didn't
to
go
get
after him.
busy.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah,
care what you do. Make the guy flop. Make the referee call a flop, a block. Go up. He's not going to defend you.
yeah. He was. Yeah,
A
you're
pump
right.
fake, something. You didn't.
Yeah,
He never. I don't remember him touching the ball like those last 3 minutes. That maybe one offensive rebound he got and then he dunked it. I don't remember him touching the ball. That was poor. Part of it's coaching. You got to admit that.
oh yeah, of course.
Part
Yeah,
part of. I understand also why he benched this guy. I get it. I also think it probably had to do with like he had his head down and stuff like that. You remember you heard that speech on social media.
yeah,
Part of it was like, who gives a shit if you miss shots? Pitino when he was that spiel that he had with them. This was a few games ago. Who gives a shit if you
yeah.
miss shots? No one gives a shit about your missed shots. Go back and play defense. Blah 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 blah. I think he got down on himself. Me personally, I get why you did it, but who else did you go to?
Well, that was the thing. So here's the thing. Just let's back up just a little bit with the Lewis thing. So he's 3 of 17, right? Scores only 9 points. And we saw the post game where Roger Rubin from the Newsday, I was gonna say Daily News because he used to be on Daily News. He asked Patino about why he benched Lewis with about 5 minutes, I think, left in the game. And I will give credit where credit is due that Patino did not want to throw him under the bus. Well, we knew why he wasn't
But
out
you
there.
you just got to read. When I sent you that, I knew exactly what he said.
Yeah, read
I didn't
between
I
the
didn't need to
lines.
see any
Yeah,
more context. That's what I got from it. He
yeah.
sucked. You know why he's sitting on the bench, but I ain't telling you that because I'm not gonna say that.
So there was a going back to what you're saying about him putting his head down. I think
The
he
body
shut
language,
down.
like the
Yeah,
body
yeah.
language.
He shut down. And there was
And
a I don't
then from that point in time, they took him out. I don't know if that's the perfect time to teach a lesson that
I
you're
don't
trying to
yeah,
teach.
I thought the same thing. I was thinking the same fucking thing because Carl and I were going back and forth. And Carl's like, why is he on the bench? He's like, is he hurt? And I told Carl, I was like, bro, I don't think he's hurt. Like I think that Patino's teaching him a lesson. And it's just the fun. Here's the one thing that I noticed. Right before he got benched, there was one sequence, and I made sure to write it down, where he was like on the left side, just outside the arc, and he was just standing there. He wasn't moving around. He wasn't demanding the ball. He was just like standing there. And then he looked lackadaisical when he was getting back on defense. And somebody made a comment on social media, and I was going to go back and watch the condensed game, but I just didn't have the time to do it. But there was a point where I think Arkansas was coming back down the court, and Lewis was a defender, and he basically just olayed it and let the guy just like go by him. So you combine that lackadaisical effort and the fact that he just wasn't looking like himself. I can understand why Patino benched him, but I think in your like I'm two minds of it. Yeah, on one hand he's fucking killing you, right? But on the other hand, is he not the best chance to give you a win?
He
Right?
did he did a John Starks against the Rockets.
That's exactly
But
what
Riley never
fucking
benched
Carl
him.
said. That's
Riley never
exactly what
benched
Carl
him.
said. Yeah.
And
Oh,
John
Eric, I
Starks
should
looked
say.
down on
Eric said that
himself.
too. Yeah.
John Starks looked down on himself, but Riley's mentality at that point was like, these are the guys that got me here.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna win by them. I'm gonna die by them.
Right. And I feel like Patino should have kept. I think at the end of the day, I lean towards you should have kept Lewis on the floor. It's funny,
Just
like
because
Steve.
I always, not to interrupt you, but I just look
No,
at
no,
it
no.
this
Yeah.
way: your best player, yes, he's having a bad game. He's still your best player, and he still has the greater probability of hitting that shot that you need.
Right. That's what I mean. Yeah. Because out of everybody on that court, he's the one that's going to hit that 3-pointer when you need it.
Remember, what the heck's his name? He fouled out. So
Kadari. Yeah.
yeah,
Richmond.
Kadar
Yeah.
Richmond. So you lost that penetration there.
Right.
Which, by the way, listen, you guys know I don't have a dog in this fight. That was a fucking bullshit call. That
There was
wasn't a
some
foul
bad
on
call.
him.
There was some bad calls in
There was
that
a lot
game.
of bad calls, but that call wasn't
Yeah.
bad. He went straight up.
Yeah.
There
Oh
was no
yeah. It
call
was.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. It was bad.
Um, I don't know. I see both sides of it, but I just don't know if that's the time to do it.
Yeah. Like, why would you teach a lesson in the NCAA tournament? I just don't.
Because I'm thinking
I
back,
don't get it.
that wasn't the only game he's played like that this year.
Right. Yes. You're right. You're right. It's crazy to me what a week difference is because last Saturday, they were at the Garden. This guy's getting Big East Player of the Year. They won the tournament. They're riding a high, and 7 days later, you could not have ended the season in a worse way. I don't think it downplays what they did during the regular season, but man, you had to fucking at least get out of the fucking first round. Now, here's the thing.
I think it's disappointing. I'm not a St. John's fan.
Oh no, it is disappointing, but it's also like, god damn, man. You had this fucking great year. You could even make it to the Sweet 16. That's what I kept on telling you. I said they gotta at least make it to the Sweet 16. At least to the Sweet 16. So the question is now, what happens next? Okay? The first thing's gonna be RJ Lewis. Guess what? I looked at some mock drafts today. He's nowhere in the first 2 rounds. And I think he played himself out of the first
Yeah,
two rounds.
I don't, I don't, I'm not looking into that. I still think he's, like I said, top 15. I don't take that one game and now this is who the kid is. He had a bad game. He's had a couple bad games. I don't look at it
Mhm.
that way. I definitely don't look at it that way. I saw where they don't even have him in the draft at all because it could have been because he's going to go to the portal.
Well, that was the other thing I was thinking too, because does Lewis be like, fuck this place? I don't like what Patino did here.
He's
I'm going
from
to
Florida, I
transfer.
think. I think he's from Florida.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, nobody's got into the portal yet for St. John's. As I did check today just to make sure, but no one's got into the portal yet. So I mean, that's gonna be the first thing. It's gonna be okay. What is he gonna do? So that's like number one. Number two, you gotta fucking find some scorers, man. You gotta fucking find people that can hit a jumper coming off a screen and maybe take like a step back 3-pointer. Because right now they don't have any of that. I know this guy Dunlap was hurt this season, and he's supposed to be that guy in a sense, but I feel like you need more than that. And the thing is, too, is that when you look at the core, if nobody leaves, they've got a pretty good amount of people coming back for next year. Because Zuby's going to be back. You're obviously going
Yeah,
to lose Richmond.
he'll
Yeah.
come back. Yep.
Yeah, Zuby's going to be back. Um, I like what Prey did in this tournament. He played well for what he was supposed to do. Um, Wilcher is probably going to come back as well. So like the core is there, but you got to fucking add some shooters on this team, man. You can't be. I don't know. It's a different game. I feel like once you get outside of the Big East, I think that defense and physical play works during a conference season, but you also need to be able to have shooters at some point, and they need that. Hey, Mr. Under Armour dude, uh, with your $4 million, let's fucking go.
Is it Under Armour? I thought it was body armor. That
No,
drink.
no, it's Under Armour. I'm
Let's
pretty
check that
sure
out.
it's Under Armour.
I thought it was the drink
Under
or whatever that drink
Armour
is called. I don't know the exact what it's called.
CEO. Oh no, you're right. It is the body armor guy.
Yeah, it's the drink.
Body armor CEO. Are you sure?
I think so. That's what I thought. I remember that's what I read. I'm not sure. That's what
Let
I'm
me
asking.
see. St. John's nil 4 million.
St. John's has a connection to the sports drink brand Body Armor, founded by Mike Rapole, a
Rapol.
St.
That's right. Yeah, that's
A
it. Yeah,
St.
yeah, yeah,
John's
yeah.
alumni who also
Yeah.
founded Vitamin Water and Smart Water.
Right. Yeah, because
Rapole is a significant benefactor and has been instrumental in the university's recent success.
don't forget I think he either bought or started vitamin water with 50 Cent, if you remember that.
Yeah, and I think he's one of his first big signings with Body Armor was I think Kobe Bryant.
Oh, interesting.
I think.
Huh. I mean, listen, this guy said he's going to keep on donating the money to make sure that they get the players. So, we'll see what happens for next season, but yeah, I'll be curious to see how the portal stuff because bro, this is the thing. I don't know if you saw this, but apparently the portal opened on Monday, the Monday before.
The portal opened. All I can think of is
Yeah.
Doctor Strange. Get the fuck out of here.
The transfer portal opened up before the NCAA tournament started, or I think on either today or last Monday. I don't know if you saw JJ Watt was criticizing that because you had guys that were entering the portal and they weren't even through with the NCAA tournament yet. So it's just like, come on, man.
Well,
NCAA's
secondly, if you want to save it for that coach, he left, and his
yes,
team was
right,
still in McNeese State,
yeah, right, and his
and he's
you
going to
know,
NC State.
the guy who was getting all the what the hell's his name?
Whatever his name, who cares?
Amir, Amir, dude. Listen,
Leave it,
I will.
leave it up, leave it up, leave it up to Danny to start trolling and say what
I,
St. John's needs.
yeah. Shut up, Danny. I will say one thing about that dude. Like, I know he was getting a lot of shit online this past weekend, but you know what? I do the same fucking thing. If you're gonna pay me money, sponsorship money like that, I'm taking that shit.
You know the people that comment and say stuff like that negatively. No, the people that are hating that wish
No,
they
of
were him.
course. Yes, exactly.
Because what does
That
it have
they
to do with you one way or another? Because if
yeah,
you had opportunity, guess what you would be doing? Get those knee
right.
pads ready because you'd be doing the same thing.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. All